So, my dear friends, I invite you for the CME on a very important topic, rheumatoid arthritis. This rheumatoid arthritis is an age-old disease. We are going to see some of the important aspects of treatment, presentation, manifestations, the complications of rheumatoid arthritis. This presentation, as usual, is available on our website www.drsharma.in, and also we have a YouTube channel for our educational videos, CME videos, Dr. Sharma ji channel. So I request you to visit the website as well as the YouTube channel so that you can see some of my yesterday's presentations and also this presentation on rheumatoid arthritis. With these few words of introduction, I welcome you for the CME on rheumatoid arthritis. The definition of rheumatoid arthritis: it is a progressive, systemic, autoimmune, inflammatory disease, often aggressive with devastating consequences. The etiology in general to date is unknown, although several theories about autoimmunity, infectious agent like bacterial, viral have been put forward. One interesting thing is smoking increases the propensity for rheumatoid arthritis. Smoking adversely affects the prognosis of rheumatoid arthritis. So this is one other reason for smokers to quit smoking. Rheumatoid arthritis is characterized by the symmetric involvement of the joints. It is in fact not an arthritis but a synovitis. It is a chronic, symmetric synovitis or polyarthritis. Joint erosions, cartilage and bone destructions are late features. Rheumatoid arthritis is not a disease of the musculoskeletal system alone. It is a multi-system disease with extra-articular manifestations. Onset is usually slow and insidious over months. In about 15 to 20% of the patients, a rapid and acute onset might be the presenting manifestation. Aggressive management of the disease is important. That only can ensure that the patient's disease is well controlled and gives a good quality of life for the patient. The epidemiology of rheumatoid arthritis: prevalence is around 0.8% to 2.1% of the population. Gender prediction ratio: women are 3 times more affected than men. Prevalence increases with age, although we have a condition called juvenile rheumatoid arthritis which exclusively occurs in young children and adolescents. 40 to 60% of the cases have severe disease, and there is a threefold increase in mortality in those who have severe rheumatoid arthritis. Median life expectancy of in a patient of rheumatoid arthritis, it is shortened by 3 to 7 years compared to his peers. If the patient has got severe joint disease, severe rheumatoid arthritis, the mortality or the life expectancy shortening could be as high as 8 to 15 years. Onset mostly between the ages of 35 to 60 years. There is a strong genetic predisposition with HLA, that is human histocompatibility antigen class 2. Out of that, HLA DR1, beta 1, 0101 and 0401 are the genetic loci wherein the propensity for rheumatoid arthritis resides, although the exact etiology of this particular condition is not known. Look at the economic impact of rheumatoid arthritis. I compared here with CAD because CAD is the disease of the century, and CAD throws a lot of economic burden. The total cost per year per patient of CAD is $8,980, whereas the cost due to rheumatoid arthritis is almost 3/4 of that, which is $6,525. Although the direct costs are more in CAD, the indirect costs in rheumatoid arthritis are much more compared to the CAD. So much so, CAD, though it is the prime disease of the century, we do have rheumatoid arthritis causing equal amount of, or around 3/4 the amount of burden, of economic burden due to rheumatoid arthritis. If you want to look at the immunology of rheumatoid arthritis, Primarily there is an exposure to the antigen, the offending antigen. We don't know what is that antigen, maybe bacterial, maybe viral, maybe some tissue antigen. We don't know what is the antigen, but primary exposure to the antigen. That antigen is phagocytosed by the macrophages and that antigen is presented to the T cells. Once the antigen is presented to the T cells, it stimulates the helper T cells. These helper T cells in turn are activated and they stimulate B cells to produce antibodies and produce cytotoxic T cells to deal with the offending antigen. So, stimulation of helper T cells results in stimulation of B cells and stimulation of cytotoxic T cells. Once the stimulation of B cells occurs, it gives rise to plasmocytes. Plasmocytes produce antibodies and these antibodies produce antigen-antibody reaction on the joint surface and produce the inflammatory arthritis. Or B cells can generate memory B cells and these memory cells will keep on producing plasmocytes and antibodies in spite of the antigen being withdrawn. So, even in the absence of antigen, once the B cells are sort of primed, they form the memory cells from which the further antibody production occurs. These plasmocytes can produce secondary antibody response also in addition to primary antibody response. And T cells also generate memory helper T cells. These memory helper T cells also produce memory B cells and memory T cells. And secondary exposure to the antigen can produce more of helper T cell stimulation, can again produce more memory B cells, more memory T cells. The cytotoxic cells, when they are stimulated by the T helper cells, they give rise to memory T cells which can activate cytotoxic reactions, and cytotoxic T cells can be producing all sorts of chemokines and cytokines which are the hallmark of rheumatoid arthritis. This is in nutshell is the immunology of rheumatoid arthritis. In rheumatoid arthritis, non-specific inflammation occurs at the joint. The non-specific insult leads to the stimulation of the synovitis and the stimulation of antibody secreting cells from the memory T cells and the memory B cells. Macrophages are activated, B cells produce antibodies, dendritic cells proliferate, cytokine activated synovitis. All these antigen presenting cells are responsible for triggering these reactions on all these cells. So, once the memory T cells are activated, they produce chemokines and cytokines and adhesion molecules and CD40 ligand or CD154, which again stimulate the B cells, produce autoantibodies, complement is activated, again macrophage activation occurs, cytokines and proteases are produced, synovitis are stimulated, they further produce cytokines and proteases, chondrocytes are stimulated, they further augment the cytokines and proteases, osteoclasts are stimulated which start bone resorption, they produce acid at the bone, they produce acid phosphatase and acid hydrolases. All these lead to bone damage and resorption. So, coming to the pathogenesis, the immunology and pathogenesis, the antigen presenting cells, the HLA-DR type, they present the antigen to the T cells. T cells in turn stimulate the B cells, they produce rheumatoid antibodies and factors and anti-CCP, immune complexes are formed, macrophages are activated, complement is activated, neutrophils are stimulated, mast cells are produced in excess and these stimulate the chondrocytes, the osteoclast and also pannus formation. Synovitis are proliferating and a proliferating synovium enters the joint space which is called the pannus. The central molecules of course are TNF alpha and interleukin 1. TNF alpha and interleukin 1 are produced through the action of all these chemotactic reactions and also directly from the B cells and from the T cells. If the TNF, because the TNF alpha and interleukin 1 are central inflammatory molecules, now we have drugs to act against these two molecules, which we will see a little later in the presentation. This again is the antigen presentation to the macrophages and the CD4 T cells, the helper T cells. They produce, the macrophages produce TNF alpha, several interleukins. These interleukins stimulate the helper T cells. Helper T cells produce TNF alpha and also interleukin 1. TNF alpha, anti-inflammatory cytokines, TNF beta and other things, and pro-inflammatory cytokines like interleukin 6 and TNS beta alpha, and then TNS alpha, interleukin 1 produces bone changes and cartilage destruction. Now, in the tissues and in the synovium, a host of mediators are produced. Some of the mediators are pro-inflammatory, some of the mediators are anti-inflammatory. The pro-inflammatory mediators are TNF alpha, interleukin 1b, interleukin 8, interleukin 6, and then intrinsic factor. Whereas anti-inflammatory molecules are IL-4 and IL-13, IL-1RA, tumor necrosis factor beta, and then IL-10. These are anti-inflammatory in nature. In rheumatoid arthritis, what happens is the pro-inflammatory molecules take an upper hand, the shift is in favor of inflammation. The anti-inflammatory molecules are no longer able to control the inflammation, so much so joint inflammation results. This is the imbalance that strikes. So to summarize, cytokines in the form of tumor necrosis factor alpha, chemokines in the form of interleukin 1 and 6, matrix metalloproteases, vascular endothelial growth factor, all these together contribute to the immune destruction of the synovium. This is the hallmark of the pathology of rheumatoid arthritis. The pathology of rheumatoid arthritis is synovitis. Why synovitis? Synovitis because of antigen antibody reaction on the synovium. This results in immune destruction. This is mediated by cytokines, TNF alpha, chemokines, interleukin 1 and 6, and then the metalloproteases and the vascular endothelial growth factor.